Our generation, we have no idea what the next 10 years would be like for our kids. The way that they will express will be completely different from what we know or what we're used to, but they will navigate around it. It's our job to be intentional about you must greet, you must make eye contact, you must speak up, you must communicate. It's a new age, but this is the time they were born for.
Keke is the CEO of Road14 Studios, and she's also the CEO of Flytime Promotion, producers of Flytime Fest and Coca-Cola Rhythm Unplugged, West Africa's longest running music festival. We're going to be talking about beyond the stage, storytelling, culture, and creative legacy, and how bold women like her are redefining cultural expression and brand storytelling. Simi and Iwaju.
Yeah!
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here.
We've been trying to do this for a while, but I'm glad that the time and space has arrived and you are here with me.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm excited to talk to my big sister.
Yes. So I always imagine you, as a little girl, actually. Kind of jumping around the place and doing stuff. So tell us about that childhood in Ile-Ife. And for those of you that don't know, it's not Lagos only that produces the fine things in life.
No, absolutely not. Even when we go into tech, a lot of the great tech guys came from OAU. So, on a side. On the side...
That's what people who live in Ife always say. It's like they give you FOMO that, gosh, I wish I had gone to OAU. Oh, I wish I had lived in Ife.
I mean, really and truly, growing up on the campus was incredible because we could climb trees, you could walk to your neighbor's house. It was amazing. And a lot of my creative expressions were nurtured at home because my mom celebrated the art. And then, in Ife, we had the likes of Wole Soyinka around a lot. The world of plays, music, all of that was nurtured in OAU. Ashake also went to OAU.
Okay, I give up.
Yeah.
I should have gone there.
Yeah, you should have.
Who knows?
I mean, I didn't go to school there, but
you grew up in that environment.
Yes.
So do you think we see more of that now? Because I remember, when we were young, people will come and then you would just entertain your parents' guests. So it's either some dance that you guys had done or you would just come and do something. I don't think we see that anymore. What are your thoughts?
It's interesting that you say that because, if you were to take stock of the past, a good number of people started off either performing at home or in the church, something, or being in plays in the university or being in some kind of society. What I think now is that the kids now are able to find very different expressions that aren't traditional. So they are able to express themselves. It's just not the way that we did. Yeah.
But do you think, though, I mean, I know I'm leapfrogging a little bit in terms of the social skills, though, that, yes, they have different expressions of self-entertainment in some instances, but even, in some cases, even getting them to say hi to Auntie Bola when she comes to visit is not always, it's hit or miss.
Absolutely. It's interesting that we say this now. I was talking to a friend of mine about, I feel our generation, we have no idea what the next 10 years would be like for our kids because it's in our generation that this explosion of social media really began. The kids now are born, like a newborn baby knows how to swipe. Well, I mean, not newborn, but maybe after a few months, What I feel is that the way that they will express will be completely different from what we know or what we're used to, but they will navigate around it. It's our job to be intentional about you must greet, you must make eye contact, you must speak up, you must communicate, no phones in the room after a particular time and things like that. It's a new age.
For sure.
But this is the time they were born for, and I guess we just have to figure it out along with them.
What did learning outside of school look like, or community learning almost look like, if you can remember or give examples of those?
Oh gosh, yes. So there was a particular club called Happiness Club in Ife, which informed why I started Road14, because that's where I learned how to compose music, how to come up with choreography. In fact, I still remember one of the songs that we learned, which was based off of the gifts of the Spirit and what love means. And so the scripture says, love is kind, love is gentle, love never fails, and we need God's love. And so I still know that song, and I sing it in my head from time to time. And those little things, I feel deposited confidence, empathy, but most importantly, Christian values and love in me that have helped me now, even as an adult. And so that's why Road14 came about, to build a center, a creative center where children could be themselves, could explore the arts. And
So I remember Road 14 actually. So tell us the origin. Why Road 14? Why not 13 or 12? Why Road 14?
Goes back to Ife. I grew up on Road14 Close. And it was just, when I think about those times, that's also how I know your husband. Being friends of my siblings. And I just have warm and fuzzy feelings whenever I think about my youth. And naming my company was an homage to that, because I wanted to create that type of environment for children as well.
So I guess that's, childhood experience, because I always say, and I've said, with the previous guests as well, that experiences, shape our perspectives and shapes our lives and livelihoods, actually. So as a parent,
it's also so scary.
Yes,
it's also so scary, because I'm thinking, I'm a mother of 3, and I can't say that I always get it right. So
I think, so I started to, a friend gifted me with prayer of mother for growing adults. I always had the one from when they were young. And the thing is in tatter. So she's like, come on. And they're not even kids anymore.
I need this book for growing adults. Do they have for teens?
Okay. I think they do, actually. Okay. Yeah. I remember reading the first few chapters, and it was saying, look, as a parent, the first chapter was for the parents praying for the adult children. 1, forgive yourself. 2, you did what you knew best to do at that time. 3, forgive your spouse, because maybe at some point you guys disagreed on raising the kids. And, 4, just, if you have to apologize to the children, apologize.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to go back in terms of, am I doing the right thing? Am I not? We're doing the best that we know what to do at the time. Do we always get it right? No. But I think it's really not giving ourselves a hard time.
Yes.
And as you said, as a person of faith, it's really also, hinging and ensuring that we hinge on God's words and just trying to use that as a template, for how we raise our children, or how we apply wisdom in, raising kids.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but that's the only thing I think that gives me confidence is knowing that God has my back. He takes care of the little things. So how much more these people that he's given me custody, or given us custody over. So I think that's all we can really do.
It's a huge responsibility and an honor as well, but you definitely ever. Oh yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, like even I told you, the book has evolved into those little ones, or let them go to, they're adults now, they have a mind of their own, essentially. And all and everything you can do is pray.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to listen to you anymore.
That's true. And then when they have children, you're still going to look out for those children as well. So it is a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, and lifelong learning, because you learn different things along the way as well as
True.
suits the environment and
True.
suits the time and
True.
age. So
True.
yeah.
True.
So I know your mom was a strong influence in your life, your parents generally, but I know your mom, and I feel that the moms of that age, they were just so cool. You know, they was such
I
strong.
didn't know she was cool.
Yeah, I know at that time because I did not think my own mom was cool. I just thought she was wicked because I was so naughty as a child that it was just.
No way.
I'm telling you,
You
people never believe me when I say this. They're like, you, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the child that just got the stick all the time.
Okay, so what changed and at what age?
I think maybe from like age 16, between 16 and 18, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because I honestly didn't get on with my mom. I just thought she was extra, as they say nowadays.
Yeah.
And because I always kind of talked back and questioned a lot of things, and because I was a proud nonconformist,
Okay.
I just needed to understand why things needed to be the way. And in those days, you didn't question
No.
because she's like, because I mean, yeah,
Yes.
you know, that was the answer
Yeah.
to everything. So yeah, I just used to, yeah.
But I'm still curious though about what
changed?
caused the switch.
I think at some point, maybe I just started to see her differently. That, okay, you know, it's actually for my good. It's not that she hates me, because I was convinced I was adopted at some point, actually. And, you know, I remember this incident where I don't know what I did. And obviously I got smacked and everything. And I actually wrote her a letter and left it on her dressing table and addressed her in her maiden name. Dear Miss Sarako, go back to where you came from. This is my father's house. And I signed my name. And of course, I got a smack. And she said, yeah, but
Exactly.
you know, but yeah, so I honestly, I was really a naughty girl. So I think by that age, I had left home as well. So I'd gone to the UK.
Okay.
I was in boarding school. So maybe that separation gave me a newfound appreciation for my mom.
Right.
And I remember my 16th birthday, and I would say, oh, mommy, I'm so old. And, you know, we had that conversation, and she was laughing that, what do you expect, you know, me to say? So I think something switched then, and just a newfound appreciation for, you know, her as a person, as a woman, a newfound respect as a mother, to be honest. So maybe it was hormonal, I don't know, on both our sides.
Right.
And we kind of, you know, maybe decided to give each other room and recognition.
Grace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting. Wow.
But yeah,
I would never.
Oh no. I remember one
I'm
time.
looking at you.
I know everybody says that. They look at you. I said, thank God for Jesus. I remember one time I decided I was going to punish my mom, actually. And so I said, because I knew she loved us so dearly. So I said I was going to go missing. Yeah. So I actually went missing in the house.
In the house?
Yeah. So I would run from room to room. And at some point, because I was so nosy, they were like, things are a bit quiet around here. Where is Then they started looking everywhere for me. They went to the neighbor's house. So I could hear them, and I was giggling, and I was loving the distress I was causing my mother.
I see.
And yeah. And then eventually, when I knew it was out of hand, because, okay, maybe let's now go to the police station and things. And I emerged from behind the sofa, pretending that I'd been asleep. I was like, what happened? Can you spare me? Because I knew that if I came out normally, it was going to be a smack.
Yes.
So I now pretended that, gosh,
okay.
I just fell asleep.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the kinds of things I got up to.
No, so I would never in a million years have thought that you were naughty growing up. Which one of your children? I guess you can't say.
Yes.
I would have to say.
This third person says to me, well, you did that when you were young, so I kind of just, it's not my fault, she says. I kind of just, when she's talking back, you know who I'm talking about.
Wow.
So what were you like having a mom that you had?
There are obviously different perspectives. One thing I know is that I always felt valued. I always felt like I was very important. I always felt like I could do anything I wanted to do, actually, because she gave me the confidence to do so. Looking back now, there's some things that I'm just like, she let me do that. So she ran, you know, a really big business called Investors, which was the only huge supermarket, cold room, travel agency, all of that in Osun State. It was huge. And so at the age of like 10, I was in charge of the safe. But I didn't even think it was a big deal then. It's now, because I was the only one left. Everyone else had gone. So I was the one that used to pay people. She would tell me, oh, Lamu, it could have been 5 million, 1 million, whatever at that time. And I would take the money, lock it up. Nobody knew. She would travel. I would be the one to wake up the maids, you know, and then I realized they never. Now, how, you know, the maids are almost the ones in charge. I was kind of the one in charge, and I was 10. And so I think, if anything, now I'm even more childlike in my adulthood than I was when I was
so you were given that early responsibility.
Yes, but I didn't think it was anything. I thought everybody did that. But then if my siblings were to talk about me, perhaps they would say I was spoiled. But I always tell them, you weren't there. So they would say spoiled in the sense of there were certain things they couldn't do that I, at that age, that I was doing. Collectively, I think the way that she raised me is responsible for how I am now.
So how are you now?
I'm still discovering who I am. I've seen life in so many different ways. When I was little, I never saw my mom struggle or cry or anything like that. I always saw her as a really strong woman who never backed down to anything. But as she got older, you know, I saw, especially with my father's death, I think that was the first time I saw her cry, and I was so confused. And I moved into her bedroom because I'd never seen her that vulnerable. And so I think since then, until I left for England, I was sleeping in her room. And then, you know, she got sick, and then seeing that side as well. And then marriage as well. And then the kind of in-laws I have, they are the most simple, kind-hearted people that I've ever met in my life. So if they're invited to an event, they would rather sit all the way in the back than go to the front. My mom, on the other hand, back.
What am I doing at the back?
Why am I in the back? I deserve, I must sit in front. Everybody must see me. So I think I have just learned to be authentic because of my mom, but humble because of my in-laws now. So it's I guess it's a combination of understanding that life changes, things change, and you just need to be ready for whatever comes your way.
So being adaptable.
Yes, yes, that's the word.
And also, you know, being a lifelong learner, actually, for you to be able to learn from the different experiences, you know,
Absolutely.
and the good and the bad that you're exposed to.
Absolutely.
So you said you went to England, and then, you know, I know you went to the US.
Yes.
And you went to Howard University.
Yes.
And so do you think, being the last born, you were given liberty to study whatever you wanted to? Because I know you have engineers in your family, you have doctor, you know. So that creative angle, do you think at that point they're like, well,
there's a funny story there. Okay. So my father was alive to tell everybody what they would study.
Oh, okay.
Yes, except for me. So mommy was like, because I did Osimbi, you know. And so
was it literally you're doing this, you're doing this?
It was, yes. And so she was like, okay, we have engineer, doctor, lawyer, accountant, computer. So you would do computer engineering. And I did that for a year. So it's interesting, when I was little, I used to open up TVs and the VCRs. And so I do like technical things, which makes sense for my production side. I mean, I'm only realizing that now. So I enjoyed at that time, I don't know if you would open up computers, like the really big computer, and then you'd look to see I don't even remember the terms anymore. But anyway, so I did really well in the hardware part, but the software part of engineering or of coding or whatever,
yeah.
oh dear, it's terrible. I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't do well in it. And so, oh yes, my children were things. I didn't do well in some things. So I then went to talk to her about what my real love is, which is theater arts. And she studied English in school, and she used to act and sing and all of those kinds of
She
things.
could relate.
She didn't tell me. It was my siblings who told me that when I told her that I wanted to study theater arts, and they were like, "Oh, no, she did all of that, so she should understand." She encouraged it for a year. But what happened is anytime she came into town, I would always be going for some audition or so the plays are also very tasking. When you are part of an ensemble, you are literally rehearsing for about 3 months. And so she just felt like anytime she was around, I wasn't there.
Okay.
And then she was worried about what my future would be and things like that. So the world as it is now, whereby we're more open to our kids expressing themselves in various ways, it wasn't that way. I think we were just on the cusp of that then. I think we were just starting out then. And so she asked me to please do marketing instead, that it's a really good balance of, I can still be creative and things like that. And so I thought about it. I went for it. I had done some marketing classes and I really enjoyed it. Actually, I'm the one who told her marketing. Okay. She didn't tell me. I told her. And she was okay with that. And so I studied marketing.
Yeah. We can see how that is manifesting in Flytime, actually, in many, many ways. Now that makes sense. Because I'm like, how is it that these guys consistently... Okay. So you actually did marketing.
Yes.
So did you do a minor in theater arts?
I did a minor in theater arts.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's the benefits.
Wow, yes.
Benefits of US education.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. And on the side, I was doing internships at theater art programs for kids. And that's how Road14 came about. But at the time I didn't put it all together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So coming back to Nigeria, which space did you envisage yourself? Because you did marketing, and then there's the theater arts. What was happening in Nigeria then? What was the wave that was
at
forming?
At the time, radio.
Yeah,
radio was big. I moved back, and I was told to call Ike and Kemi Adetiba. At the time, they were the ones who were really... Ike was called Wild Child at the time. He had a morning show that was very popular on Rhythm FM. And I got onto the morning show with him. And then I had my own show at night because apparently my voice, I can have a raspy, deep thingy at times. And so I had a spoken word show because I love poetry.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that and then eventually got into TV. I was a presenter and then I was also producing my own show as a presenter. And then moved on to actually worked with Mo as a producer as well. Yeah.
Right. So the entertainment industry, was calling your name.
It was.
And so the marketing wasn't at that time, but that kind of caught up and everything, worked together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then, of course, the man came into the scene. And, did he not?
He did.
Yes, he did. And it was like a partnership, made in creative heaven.
Amen.
Of sorts,
Amen.
right? So I wanted to talk about Road14 first before I talk about Flytime, and just really, again, centering around children and creativity, and really unlocking, that potential that is in children. What did you think you could do in the space in Nigeria around that, especially since we're so academic?
I've been thinking, I'm trying to remember what's the first, yes, we had a summer camp. It started off as a summer camp. Ade and I came together and said, okay, let's do this theater arts camp for kids. And it was such a success. The kids were happy, the parents were happy, the feedback we got was great. And then I was like, okay, we have something here. Let's do it. And again, because I have this, I'm an incurable optimist. I don't believe that there isn't something that I can't do. And so that spirit in me was it just kept egging me on, do this, do it for the children, do it in this environment. Again, because I feel like my youth was such a strong foundation, again, for who I am. And that's why I thought I need to catch them young. So that when they become older, they will be able to look back at, I went to this place, such as the happiness club that I went to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the impact that had on you.
Yes.
So inherently, you were trying to also recreate that
Yes.
and have that kind of impact
Yes.
on the next generation.
Yes.
Got it. Certainly caught on, didn't it?
It
Terms of, creative platform and space for children. Because I remember then we shared a space
Yes.
On Africa Lane,
Yes.
and it always looked like fun.
It was.
I mean, I know I was there doing stuff, and I'm like, look as if they're having such a good time.
And the great thing, because I do have to talk about STEM, is, I'm of the opinion that STEAM,
Excuse me. STEAM, the arts.
is very important. Why? Because every engineer, every coder, everybody that creates something, it is your creativity that allows you to imagine, to conceptualize. And so even in class, in the classes that you are having, all those kids, everything that they're putting together, the colors of the Lego, that all sparks up the art, the creativity, the imagination in them. So I'm begging.
I agree with you.
Everybody, please. Please, we need to call it
STEAM. I agree with you entirely, actually, because, the engineer can imagine it, but at the end of the day, it's that designer that, can put it together, bring it to life, add the color, the aesthetics, or whatever.
For everybody to be able to use.
Yes, and even if you look at it from a music perspective as well, it all kind of, that's why it's team, right? Because everything is sort of interconnected.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like our partnership was perfect, because
actually,
at that time, some kids will go to you in the morning and then come to me in the afternoon.
Exactly.
And I think vice versa.
Yeah, and then even family members. So one child might be going to 14 classes.
1 week, and then come to you the next week. It was great.
Actually, it really worked. All of us under one roof. And it was a really enjoyable partnership until COVID came and ruined everything. But we thank God for that period. It was a happy place for us, actually. We really appreciated it. So there's that in terms of performing arts, but I know the talent agency kind of came after that.
Yes.
And that has also been successful. So how do you spend your time between Road14 kind of hats and Flytime?
That is a good question. I'm still learning how, because there are seasons whereby I'm able to devote a lot of my time to Road14, and seasons whereby I'm not. And I am, because again, I am an adaptable person. I don't beat myself up for that.
Because you're Gemini as well. I know that's why I like you too.
Yes, and you are Gemini too. Yes, we're special people.
We are.
Of course, there are times whereby I feel like, oh, I should give a little bit more to this as opposed to that. But I know that we're going somewhere, and I feel that they're even almost now beginning to merge, because at Flytime now we've started a set called The Future, which gives children between the ages of 13 and 18 an opportunity to perform on the Rhythm Unplugged stage. Because what I found is that there's so many talented kids, but they don't have an avenue to express. So I'm so happy. A lot of the kids that have performed on there have now been signed to other agencies.
Wow.
And so I feel like there's more. There's so much that we're going to do as Flytime and as Road 14.
I think that's fantastic because
Thank
I
you.
think, so in my own research and trying to understand where the 13 to 18-year-olds are and their interests and what they're doing, and the parents that I've interviewed, there's a lot of interest in the creative industry.
Yes.
So either being on stage or behind the scenes or, you know, making content and things like that.
Yes.
And it's just, and she was complaining that they don't have
enough
outlets or platforms for them to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Do you see Road 14 filling that gap and amplifying it even more? Or,
Absolutely. It's one of the things we're working on right now that I can't speak on.
Okay. So it's loading.
It's loading. It's loading. Absolutely.
I think it's much needed because parents are worried.
Yes. There aren't enough positive role models. Like when I was growing up, for instance, the norm was to watch shows that made sense. I mean, you had Cosby Show, Different Worlds. I mean,
yes, I remember.
Full House, Blossom. Yes. It goes on and on and on and on. Now, what's babysitting our kids is TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and an algorithm that no one can control. So what happens is that you almost stay in your own little box because these devices listen to your conversation.
They do.
So if you have
it's very creepy, actually.
False sense of self, you're only going to see things that keep you in that false sense of self, as opposed to you being exposed to different aunties, different programs that can open
diversity
up your
of thoughts and
ideas
ideas and perspectives. Yeah, it's really scary.
And then, I mean, parents also, to be honest, the challenge for me, I love the teens, I love the kids. I think they are amazing once they are pushed in the right direction. But parents, goodness, we need prayer. Between one, wanting to be your child's best friend, not having boundaries, wanting to give them the life that you didn't have. It just goes on and on. I'm not saying that I'm perfect too. I'm far from it. Even the fact that children are my ministry, because of that, I even struggle with certain things because, as you know, the devil will try you because that is the ministry that you've chosen. But thankful to the strong network and community that I have, they're able to also call me out on certain things. And I'm also thankful for a wonderful husband as well, who together we're able to say, okay, let's try this way, let's work on this that way. It's not easy. It's not easy, but the parents, we have to look at ourselves. Look at ourselves in the mirror. Jinx.
Yeah. No, as you know, working with children, inevitably you have to come in contact with parents. And honestly, you know, sometimes there is a lot of, oftentimes, cause for concern because it's really the parents and you feel because you are pouring out into those children and they're not raising themselves and can't either. So it's really, you know, something for concern.
A friend of mine said something that it seems that we are almost afraid of our children.
Yes, so yeah, we don't want to displease them because you know, for me, maybe it's a bit extreme. They're almost mini gods in some instances to some parents, and you don't want to offend them because you don't want them to not like you.
But the offense is actually what gives them grit in the future.
That's the discipline aspect of it, and some parents sadly are just not able to do that.
God help us all.
Simi and Iwaju. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
You know, of course, I know you've had many successes with some of the children that have gone through. What did that look like in terms of signing her up with Disney and, of course, the subsequent Emmy nominations and things like that. How did it start? Because I even remember her coming to STEMmet's,
Yes.
camp.
Yes.
I think I still have pictures and videos of her somewhere. How was that identified? I know her mom is very intentional
Yes.
and spot on, and
Yes.
having you as a BFF.
Yes.
How did you guys orchestrate or identify and decided that, you know what, we need to take this seriously?
Okay. There are many different parts to that. I'll start off by when we started Road 14, it was initially Road 14,
Yeah.
and then it changed to Road. During COVID, got a lot of phone calls from various brands wanting kids to voice for something, right? And then I was like, okay, there's an opening somewhere, right? Because they've seen kids go through us. Because, we would end the summer with a production.
Yes.
So anytime they were looking for kids to do certain things, they would reach out to us, right? And so we had done a few. We did some with Coca-Cola and a few other companies. That's on the side. Now, when Simi was about 3, I remember telling her mom that this child sounds like a cartoon character and we need to monetize on this voice. So that's, another, and just put that in another pocket. As she started getting older, she's an avid reader. And so because she reads so well, her imagination and her ability to infer and interpret a text or a book was above her age. She could read something and be able to bring it to life in a very engaging manner. From one, the voice that she had or has, and also her understanding of text because she's such an avid reader. So when the opportunity came with Disney, I believe she was actually in the States. So reached out to her mom, told her to do
So
the
Disney
voice.
reached out to you?
No, Lala is a casting agent.
Okay.
And we're one of the agencies that she reaches out to whenever she needs children.
Okay.
Lala is an incredible, supportive woman in the arts. And so she reached out to us. And so I reached out to Felicia. Simi did the voice, sent it over. At the time, we didn't even know it was Disney. So we heard the good news that Simi had been picked, and they also needed a male lead as well, who we also found. And it's Folake's son, who's very talented, by the way. I don't know if you watched Iwaju. He did Yoruba scenes, and the Yoruba was so Yoruba. Conk Yoruba, and then he could also switch to broken. And I want you to know why I love the world that we're in is that he was in school. He was in university when he was recording. So he would go to the recording studio. They'll get a car. He'll be transported there. He would do his sessions. Simi and so they never met. They never met. Everything was done in virtually. Even her director and everybody, it was all they were. So she would be in the studio and we'll have a laptop with everybody signed on listening. Now they did have another producer here who was incredible. His name is Toju, and then myself, and then we hired a voice artist, a voice coach to be in the room as well. So it was great. It was really, really great.
Oh, wow. So what did it feel like seeing that on Disney? All come together. And,
it was
knowing that, wow, especially Simi, a child that you've known from birth. So it was real proud mom, auntie, family, village moment.
Days. It was, seeing it all come together in itself just shows you how talented we are as a people. Because that story was written by 2 Nigerian guys and another African. Yeah, just seeing everything come together, honestly, Auntie Jade, it's mind-blowing.
Oh, wow.
It's mind-blowing.
And then the Emmy nomination as
Emmy
well.
That was another icing on the cake. And the way she handled that, even though she didn't win, but just being nominated in itself was such a win. She's an incredible young
Young
lady.
She is.
She is. And her parents are also just as amazing.
They are actually.
They
I really
are.
like Felicia. I wanted to also, so that's Road 14. Your stage productions.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any in a while.
Okay, anyway.
And I know the last one I saw was really profound. I was trying to remember the name of it.
High? Is it
Yes.
High? Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that
Thank you.
so many angles,
Thank you.
society, identity, addiction, expectations. Because a lot of people know you with Flytime, I feel almost that there's a segment generation there that don't know you for your stage production.
Yes.
What do you think? Is that true?
I think I agree with you. And this is a great story to tell because, I did a major stage play whereby I had Tiwa Savage, I had Omaomi, I had Joke, I had before people started doing like Hairwood and Saru and all of that.
Yeah, well, that was for colored girls, right?
Yes. And it almost felt like it reminded people that, stage can be mainstream. Right? I remember when we decided to cast Tiwa, it was almost like, but she's a musician. Why should she be in theater? And I was like, that's music unifies us. And if she can sing, certainly she can act. And her being in it also makes it relatable to other people.
Right.
And so we'll open it up for other people who do not care so much about theater, who more so care about Tiwa or the music that she
and will
sings,
come because
will
of
come to watch her. And so that was where we were going with that, and it was extremely successful. I remember the opening day, Auntie Jade, we had people lined up outside waiting for us to open the door. And I just thought to myself, my mom came to that show. She was ill, but she came to watch it. She came from the US. And the storyline was also very profound. And at the end of the show, she called me, she called my sister, Ayo. She hugged us and she said, "Oh, Yemi, everything you've been wanting to do."
Wow, that must have been a proud moment for you. I'm sure when you think about it now.
Even
also,
now.
Yes. Wow,
And
what a super endorsement, right? Especially at that time.
Yes. And she died the year after. So I'm so happy that she got to see that. And so from that, I've always cared about telling stories that are impactful, that matter. And I think as I became a mom, learning about some of the challenges that teenagers have, I then felt like, okay, I know certain things. How do I tell it in a way that is edutaining? And so initially the story was about alcohol abuse. And so we went to 50 public and private schools in Lagos. We did a tour. It was incredible. And we gathered a lot of data. They had a questionnaire that they would fill out first, they would watch the play and then fill it out after. And we could see from data that they were learning a lot from the stage play.
Using that as a platform for learning.
Yes. And so we then adapted that script. I think, what was it called? It was called something else. And so we then thought, okay, so we've done substance abuse. What's the next thing? Sorry, we've done alcohol abuse. What else do teens struggle with? And so we did the one about substance abuse. And then right now, we're working on one about sports families.
Because I was going to ask you that when can we expect the next one? Because it is edutainment. It's using performing arts to educate and pass knowledge and message.
And not in a way that points fingers, but in a way that is reflective, whereby you actually look at yourself and think, what am I doing this right?
So there's a lot of self-reflection there. And transformation and hopefully restoration. So when can we expect that?
I love that restoration.
So you are still in that business of stage productions. Okay. So maybe I
Now
just
we're
haven't
just
been.
more focused
Yeah.
on teenagers and young adults.
Okay, so there's a target
For now.
audience. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's fantastic. I like the way that you're using storytelling as a tool, cultural tool, and also for impact.
Amen.
And just really, I see what I see there is listening and responding to, maybe questions or challenges, in that, demographic group.
Absolutely.
And then speaking to that using,
Absolutely.
performing arts as a tool.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because for me, again, I had Cosby Show, I had Different World, and all of those things. The shows now, I don't think they have anything
Yeah,
like that. And so I would hope that with time we'll go into TV, into film. And,
Yeah, because that's what I have
so
here.
on.
So I had you, music, theater, and then film. I had a
Yes.
circle and question mark.
Yes. So we have it's called Magic Line Films, and it's also to tell stories that are impactful and meaningful.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love that. All the different angles and sort of age segments as well.
Yes.
So you haven't moved away entirely from that kids and influence and impact.
Because
and
they're
sowing the
everything
seeds.
to me. Yes. Yeah.
So let's speak about flight time.
Yay!
December is nearly here. We're not going to sleep because we're waiting for people to come back from concerts and things like that. But hey. So flight time has become synonymous with culture shaping experiences. Again, for me, experiences are so powerful. So is there, and what is the philosophy behind curating not just entertainment, but almost legacy defining moments? Because I almost feel as if it's become a reference point that, oh yeah, I remember in December 20, I remember that time when whatever, and this one did. It's kind of a reference point. So is that deliberate or accidental or halfway? Yeah, especially with your marketing hats.
So I believe that everything is intentional. One of the things that is important to us at Flytime is innovation and connection. And music definitely unifies all of us. What we have been extremely intentional about, though, is because we are a legacy brand and because we have been around for 21 years, this is our 21st year, it is important that we remain youthful and current.
I like that, youthful.
And so you need to have a communal sensibility in order to have, your ears to the ground, to know what the kids like, what the kids are drawn to. How do you connect with them? How do you stay relevant? That's been the intentionality behind the ecosystem and how we have been able to do it for so long. Is that one, again, intentional, two, community, three, making sure that we're youthful. Innovation is everything because you want a world-class experience.
Exactly.
And the artists now, our artists are global. They perform everywhere in the world. And so when they come home, they expect the same quality from sound, production,
the location, concert hall,
everything. And then our guests as well, to be honest, have grown with us through the years. So people who started off as maybe an entry-level employee, back when we were at Fantasyland, and now the MDs of the company. So they are also seeing the growth and the evolution, and they're so proud to be a part of it. And so I think we've been very fortunate with that.
In terms of growing with the brand, I remember, I think one of my Christmases at home, and this was when they used to have the concert by that Eco Hotel strip. Ocean something.
View. Yes, we were outdoors then. Which is why, now when the young people doing concerts now, they say things like, oh, they don't do outdoor festivals.
Yeah, it was outdoor.
Nigeria.
I remember it was like sofa ties were all outside. And, when I was talking about relatable and milestones, I remember then it was Banky W that came on stage. And then this small boy came on stage and we were like...
Was that Wizkid or David?
Yes, we were like...
Who is this?
And he said that and he was like, yeah, thank you very much. And we're like, please, when is, And fast forward how many decades, it was like, that was that small boy Yeah, because I remember some big artists had come before me and they now said, oh yeah, young, up and coming. And we're like,
and that's what is so beautiful about the Rhythm Unplugged brand, which we would never take out, is we dedicate the first hour to up and comings. And that's also where the future that I talked about, they're on that platform too. The number of people that have come from that, from Olamide to Wizkid to Davido to Tiwa to Shay Shay to Phils to Thames. I mean, I could go on and on. A lot of them were opening acts on the Flytime Rhythm Unplugged stage.
So it's almost like a feeder school.
Yes.
To the bigger things and bigger stage. And, as you have experienced, you must be like a proud mom and dad when you see them all on what a lot of them have become globally.
Absolutely. I think Cecil more so because he works very closely with the artists. I focus more on the business side, the production side. I didn't say that.
On the ka-ching.
Yes. And so he is very proud. He is extremely passionate. And I've learned to also trust because there's some things that I don't see the way he does. He's quite the visionary, to be honest. And so I've learned to let's go with this
and
because he's going somewhere. And I think that trust that we both have in one another has really, really helped the business. Absolutely.
So as a woman in that industry, operating in the intersection of media, entertainment, brand storytelling, what has been the biggest lesson you've learned about visibility, representation and voice? And it's a man's world, apparently, especially in that high level in that sector. Have you had to fight for your rights and place at the table?
So there are two sides to that story. There's the whole male domination side, and then there is what I have just learned, in general, because I don't want to mix the two. I think that just from being a woman in this environment, because you talked about storytelling, right? That I am still learning because it's not my natural default. Neither is it my partner's, right? And so we have people that meet us and say, oh, you're not typical entertainment people. And then we're like, what does that mean and what does that look like? And so that's why I don't want to mix it with the other thing. We need to stop generalizing about what the entertainment industry looks like and who can be in that world. We are very different, all of us in the industry. We all bring different things to the table. We all respect one another. And so because of that, especially from a Flytime perspective, we have let our work do more of the talking than showing. Do you get what I mean? Like, than talking. So it's more so look at the fruit of our labor and let the fruit speak for itself. And then now we are now playing catch up to say, okay, so that other people don't take us out of the narrative, let's show the work that we've done. But what we're finding is we don't even have to say it ourselves. Other people are happy to celebrate and share the work and the impact that we have made in this industry for 21 years.
21 years. So how do your staff stay creative and innovative? How do you, because, it might be one thing, you being the visionary and, co-founders, etc. How does that translate to innovation and creativity in our environment?
Oh my gosh.
You know what that's like?
That's a tough one. We're still, we're still trying to figure
all the balls and everything.
it out. We are really fortunate to have an incredible, hardworking team who believe in the brand. We've had the same team members for many years, but then because we are also youthful, we do have a crops of young people as well on the team. What I stress though is, even though we're being creative, it is important that there are timelines, there are deadlines, there's structure and things of that nature. Because creativity can be very expensive if there is no if there's no guidance.
Yeah.
Right. And I
Framework.
think, yes, and I think that that's where some of my strengths lie, is being able to connect with, the team members and guiding them along the way.
You're a person of faith, obviously. I mean, that's very obvious even from the first few minutes of this conversation. How does that mix in entertainment? When some of these videos are kind of X-rated, or some of the sort of stereotypes of musicians and the kinds of lives they live with drinks, drugs, this and that, some of the artists or environments and things like that. How do you manage that from a faith perspective, and how do you also kind of pull rail guards within your organization and what you're trying to do?
Faith is everything to Cecil and I, because we wouldn't be here without him, because there are some years that we're just like, how did we do it? We don't even know how we did it. And so there's an assignment that we have been given, and through him, we continue to deliver. So that's one, that's the foundation. Two, it is us making sure that we are not taking advantage of God's grace, which is sometimes a struggle, because you're like, okay. But I believe that God sees the end from the beginning, and that we are just, the people that are helping to shape whatever what the culture is. When it comes to safeguarding, we have rules, and we try to stick to those rules. When it comes to safeguarding, this year, for instance, we're being a lot more intentional because we have alcohol sponsors, right? And so this year, we're making sure that kids below the age of 18 have separate wristbands, so that when they go to, because obviously you can buy alcohol or there's free alcohol, they look at the wristbands and make sure that they're not given that. So we are putting our ear to the ground and making sure that we are solving problems because of the experience that we have. So we're not, so you'd have a show every year, but it's important to do the background work by speaking to everybody to say, okay, how did it go? Was this good? How can we handle this? So what we make sure to do is to learn from the previous show and to create solutions for whatever some of the challenges were. And so, one, making sure that the kids are not exposed to alcohol. In the green rooms, there's, no smoking. We have signs all over the place. No smoking allowed. Even more so in Road14, because obviously it's a talent agency. And when you look at some of the Disneys of the world, sometimes you can see how some of the kids go to the left, right?
Exactly.
So it is about constant prayer, making sure you're aligned with the family members, making sure that the mom or dads are also a part of the decision making. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I think that is why we do things such as High and all of these different plays to make sure that we are educating people about the reality behind alcohol and drugs and things of that nature.
So that's kind of where the education and edutainment. So it's really, I think I can see a pattern there in terms of how you're using the different expressions of what you do to still try and have influence and impact. Particularly on the youth, as you said.
Yes, because I mean, you can't necessarily tell an adult how to live their life. And musicians are adults, and they can choose, how they want to, what extracurricular activity
they want to partake in.
But it's from catching people when they're young and making sure that they have certain values and they wouldn't participate in certain things. I don't think every musician smokes. I don't think every musician drinks. But there is a in this world, we tend to focus on the ones that do. Let's focus on the ones that don't and use that as a role model for the kids coming up.
I think that's very important, having that relatable, positive role models, actually, which is what I think a lot of the kids are seeking. And just being truthful and authentic. Who would you say is your global crush as a media and entertainment company?
Oh my gosh.
Because I have a STEM crush, you know.
Oh my
but who would you say
gosh.
is yours?
There's the individual,
Okay.
which is a lady called Emma Greed, who I think we have certain similarities in her simplicity. So when you look at her, you don't realize all what she's been able to accomplish. But I do think she's a lot more harder than I am. But I really, really like her. There's Oprah, who I love with every part of me.
Have you met her yet?
Well,
You were in the same breathing space.
Yes. We were in the same breathing space. Thank you. And I was in the same breathing space with Michelle Obama as well. That's another one. But if we wanted to talk about a business, I would say Golden Voice or AEG, because they do so much. The prayer is that Flytime is able to get to that point. Absolutely.
So who are you listening to at the moment? Do you have a favorite artist? You're not allowed to say, and then they all get jealous, or would that be betraying?
Oh my days! Oh my days!
Yeah, I want to stir a little bit.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I love Ashake's artistry.
Me too.
Yes.
I had actually never heard of him until about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
There was this August kind of concert that Budweiser did, and they had this thing, and then this person now came. Like I said, I didn't know who he was. And he was so electrifying. And I was like, who is this person? Everybody was singing along. And so I remember going home and telling him, I said, yeah, I just came from some guy. My friends were like, what? I was like, okay. But it was unforgettable.
Yeah.
And since then, I've just, the artistry, as you said, is just unbelievable.
Yes, and I think it stems from this theater arts background that he had in Ife.
Of course. No, really, he's truly engaging. And even this last year at the concert that I was privileged and advantaged to get a ticket to attend, honestly, I was like a 10-year-old. I was just so mesmerized. It's not just coming and dubbing because, some of them just, This guy is a performer, he's an artist, he's a dancer, you can tell.
Even the meetings that we have, the production meetings.
That's what I mean. You could tell that it's not just about, I'm just going to go on stage.
No.
Every single thing. It's almost like a Beyonce type production where a lot of thought and energy has gone into it. And he's just... he's probably, on the borderline. Those geniuses are always
I feel the same.
Yeah, honestly.
I feel the same, which is why he can have blue hair today, tomorrow yellow hair, tomorrow shaves his head. But those kinds of people also require a lot of prayer.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
because
for sure.
Everything just happens so quickly. So fast. It's incredible.
Yeah, and even mastering that gift in itself, oftentimes they can't handle it.
Yes.
So you're right. But I think I have to agree with you on that.
Artistry, Ashake, songwriting, Kiss Daniel. Oh my days. Most of his hits, in fact, if not all, he writes them. And it's just like, how do you sit down and just come up with these lyrics and they become hits? So he's my top one for songwriting, Ashake artistry. When it comes to work ethic and caring about his community and Nigeria, I would say Davido. Yeah, he really cares about Nigeria, about his people. And then if we're to talk about just confidence and sass and being an authentic young lady, I would say Ira Star. That's it.
Nice. When we talk about work ethics, can I please beg that you beg them to please try and start on time?
We always start on time.
Ashake started on time.
We always, every show
Yeah.
starts on time.
Because I remember some girls waltzing in about
At the end.
30, yeah, and they
Yes.
almost cried.
Yes.
Because this guy came,
Yes.
started, I mean, it was
Yes.
altogether lovely,
Yes.
honestly. I look
Yes.
forward to
more
another experience.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe
Yes.
that will translate across
Yes.
board to
Yes.
some of the
But
other
this isn't
artists.
I mean, I have to say this. Artists not starting on time isn't a Nigerian thing. It is an artistry all over the world thing. There are some artists in the US who do not start on time.
Well,
and some
I've never
artists
experienced
who
it.
do not show up.
Show up.
Absolutely. But for some reason, we perpetuate this to only Nigeria. It happens all over the world.
Okay.
We have disciplined artists here. Yes.
So what would you, okay, I believe you.
I promise.
So what would you say to the next gen of, media moguls, guru in the making, in terms of media and entertainment group or creative agency? What tips in your experience for the next gen?
Yeah.
Because I mean, yes, I know you're young, but next gen,
yes, absolutely. I'm forever young.
Yes,
forever young. Okay. Anyway, that's a really good question. I would say, one, believe in yourself. Right? Nobody's gonna believe in you. Two, there's no I in team.
Yeah.
You need a team that believes in you, that will go to bat for you, and who has grit and tenacity. Right? That's 1, 2. 3, relationships. You need people. That is one of Cecil's superpowers, is people. And it's those people that have supported us all through the years. And it's because of those people that brands also believe in us. And when I say people, it's from the artist relationships to the audience, to the ticket buyers, to the table buyers, and even people who just believe in your dream and your vision. So those 3 things. 4, just educating yourself, especially the business side, because a lot of people just think it's so easy to do a party, it's so easy to do a show. But at the end of the day, it is the structure that keeps it going. It's the structure that sustains it. And you need to make sure that you educate yourself so that you have sustainability. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
So what is your superpower? You said you mentioned Cecil's. What's yours? I'm really throwing it at you today. I let you go. What's your superpower?
That's a good question. I think my ability we relate to people in different ways. I am more of I see people. Yeah, I really see you. I really see you, Auntie Jade.
Thank you so much.
No. What I mean is, I think God has given me the gift of relatability. And so I'm able to make people feel comfortable, feel seen, and feel heard. And I find that in this world, all we all want is to be seen, heard, and loved. And so because I'm able to do that, I'm able to build a really great community and team of people in Flytime. Yeah, I think that's one of my, and not only Flytime, at Road14 and just in general around me. And I'm not a boo-boo, iru kind of person.
No, I agree with you actually.
Yeah.
I think that is a superpower that you have. You're super relatable across different age groups. And I think you kind of have to also work with children and youth. They're drawn. They're drawn to that, and you kind of feel the energy from that. And it's a nice occupational hazard that you just get to be playful and be a child again.
Yeah, I would say in the beginning when Cecil and I used to go to these meetings together, and they would only concentrate. They would only talk to him. At first, I didn't like that, but now I actually just laugh when it happens. because he'll tell them at the end, you are not talking to the right person.
That's one.
That is the
sitting there
person.
looking like, it's all going to come back to me.
Yeah. Yes. So sometimes it is a good ammunition, right, for people to underestimate you.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Let them.
Yeah, I get that for various reasons. My height, I don't look as old as I am. I just capitalize on it, and it has worked for me, and I think the same for you actually.
Likewise.
Yes, I think the same for you. So let's own it. So I don't want you to go, but I know you have to. I wanted to ask you, what does legacy mean to you personally?
Legacy is everything to me. Okay. One, also because my husband and I have built this together, right? And so legacy is having a brand that is looked at as significant, that is looked at as impactful. Over the last couple of years, we introduced something called accessible seating, so that people with various types of abilities can have preferential seating at the festival, whether it's in VIP or in tables. So it's letting people know that we see them and we care and we want to make impact in a way that outlives us. That's legacy.
I like that. It all goes back to that seeing. We're seen by God, we're known, so I think we're expected to translate that, which is what I tell my children. I say, be it the cleaner, whoever it is, see them, greet, acknowledge them, and of course my daughter's like, but sometimes they don't answer, but it doesn't matter. You've seen them, and I think that's so important. And thank you for that.
Thank you.
I really like it. Well, thank you so much, Keke. I think we might have to do a part 2 at some point. And just,
I would love that.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for sharing, the legacy of what you and your husband have been able to do and continue to do, and just really giving a platform for Nigerian creatives on a global platform, sowing the seeds. We scatter it, we don't know which one, but we nurture it, and being so impact focused, especially in an industry where it's very transactional, which is why I think conversation like this is great, because what you see on the outside versus what's going on behind the scene, and the motivation behind what you're doing, I think is so important, that you may see it as just whatever, but to me it's a ministry. And I can really relate to that, and I appreciate it. So thank you, Keke, for coming and reframing with me.
Ooh, I love that.
God bless you.
Thank you,
immensely.
Auntie. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's everything.
You're welcome.
Thank you.